In speaking to employers this week, we've had discussions which I think can be fairly helpfully distilled. So we're looking first at triaging a business in crisis effectively. What I would suggest that employers do is first look at what type of employees they have, be it 0 hours, standard employee contracts, independent contractors. Know who you have in your stable, as it were. Next, you need to look at your contracts. What might they allow you to do that you perhaps didn't even realise was in there? For example, a reduction in hours and thus pay could be there, something to be utilised to save cost. Then a frank decision needs to be made after a period of consideration as to whether your business or parts of it are sadly terminal, or whether after a fallow period, if the costs can be managed, you will look to restart and have a reignition team to do that for you, and if so, who would be in that team? And those employees do need to be kept informed and looked after, as well as the wider employee group, with a view to having them ready when needed. Worth checking that if you recognise a union or have agreements with staff as to how you would consult in these situations, that those agreements are observed. In terms of your options for trying to save costs at this desperately difficult time, we have clients looking at reducing pay and perhaps seeking people to agree to go on unpaid leave. And these options really need to be by consent with employees. If you happen to have layoff or short-time working clauses in your contracts, they can be of some help, but actually the duration for which they're useful is not necessarily what we're going to need in this possibly fairly lengthy situation. So the best approach, I think, for most employees is going to be agreeing with staff these cost-saving measures that they're going to have to take to avoid redundancies. If unfortunately you can't avoid redundancies, you would be looking at following as fair a process as you possibly can. And if it's 20 plus employees looking to be made redundant at any one site, there'll be collective consultation duties. But worth bearing in mind that given the quite unprecedented and extreme situation we're in, there's a special circumstances defence which may apply to reduce the likely length of that consultation and what would be needed and how you're meant to approach that type of consultation. So something to take advice on, as it might look very different to how you've seen consultations run in the past.